morning, good afternoon, and good evening, and good night, everybody out there in YouTube land. Oh, if you haven't guessed already, my name is Akimbo Pickles. Welcome back to the channel. Hope you guys have enjoyed these videos that I've uploaded in the last couple weeks. If you have, hit the like button and subscribe button. It's really appreciated. It helps out the channel a little bit. And yeah, I'm gonna tell you right now, I probably won't monetize the channel. I'm not out here to gain money or fame on the channel. I'm just out here to kind of give you guys a little insight of what, you know, truck drivers, their life and how they live and everything, and what we do out here. So with that in mind, today I want to talk about mile per gallon, MPGs. Yes, it's a dirty word. It's a dirty acronym, and yeah, people don't like to discuss it very often because they get a little aggravated, you know, when it comes to certain trucks getting better MPGs than other trucks, and I'm going to explain why they're getting better MPGs than you are. So, first of all, MPGs, mile per gallon. What your ECM says versus what your statement says and your 4-week average says, two different things. Just to let you know that right now, okay? I don't believe that when they do the MPGs, they go off a 4-week average. They don't go off of your ECM. So yeah, well, they do technically go off your ECM, because what they do is they take the 4-week average from your ECM and then average together, and that gets your mile per gallon and your rate for the week, as far as your fuel surcharge and stuff like that. Certain companies do it that way. Fuel surcharge. Let's talk about that real quick. So fuel surcharge is something that I kind of fight with a little bit, because I believe you should be getting 100% fuel surcharge. I believe 100% of the fuel should be paid by the company and not by you. That's just my personal belief. But we'll get into that at some other point in time. Right now we're going to talk about mile per gallon. Okay, so how do you get that high 9s, low 10s mile per gallon? Well, you got to slow down. Instead of doing 65, 70 mile an hour, you've got to slow down. Unless you are really light, like 20,000 pounds on your trailer, I would say slow it down to about 60 mile an hour, between 60 and 63 mile an hour, and you'll get that higher mile per gallon. Guaranteed. So the way I look at it is like this. I did a test. So I've noticed that when I'm heavier, when I run at 60 mile an hour, I get really good MPGs. I get the same MPGs running heavy at 60 mile an hour that I do running light at 65. I've also noticed that if I do 65 mile an hour when I'm empty, that really doesn't matter that much, because I'm going to get really good mile per gallon because I'm empty, right? I'm going to get those high 10s and low 11s. So when you're empty and you're going to your next load, 65 mile an hour is not a problem. But when you get to your next load and you figure out how heavy you actually are, then you need to say, okay, well, what do I need to do to maximize fuel? And so I broke it down to where if I am 30,000 pounds or more, over 30,000 pounds, I'm going to run at 60 mile an hour. If I'm under 30,000 pounds, like say around 25,000 pounds, I'm going to run at 65. That's just the way it's going to roll. That way I can keep my mile per gallon about the same, just adjust it to where, you know, I'm actually using less fuel, more miles, less fuel. So that's what I'm trying to actually ultimately get at. More miles, less fuel. And I've noticed something else. So yesterday, I believe I ran, I'm not 100% sure, but let me take a look here real quick. Yesterday I ran 558 miles, almost 560 miles at 60 mile an hour. All right. So to be honest with you, that's actually really, really good. Now, I could have run, if I was doing 70 mile an hour, I could have run 600 miles yesterday in 10 hours and 55 minutes. Because that's what I used on my clock. 10 hours and, it was 10 hours and 11 minutes on my drive time that I used. I'm not like some of these guys. I won't drive all the way down until I got 15, 20 minutes on my clock, unless I absolutely have to. But I'm getting the same amount of miles, either way you look at it. So I'm driving the same amount of miles, over 500, almost 600 miles a day. You know, 10 hours, about 600 miles. So if I slow it down, it's not really making that big of a difference. Or if I speed it up, it's really not going to make that big of a difference. 65 mile an hour is really not going to make that big of a difference. I'm running the same amount of miles. And it really doesn't matter about mileage. In my case, it runs about percentage. So as long as I'm there on time, you know, I'm gonna get those good loads. And my percentage is gonna be good. Sorry guys, I gotta eat something. And this banana, it's good for you. Bananas are good for you. Got some coffee I haven't even started on yet either. But yeah, mile per gallon, you really want to maximize your profit. I absolutely suggest that you run at 60 mile an hour or less. At some point in time, I'm going to try it at 55. I'm going to see what I can get at 55 mile an hour. And see how far I can go at 55 mile an hour. Because regardless of what you think, these trucks don't only go at 60 mile an hour when you're driving, you know, down these roads. When you coast, when you're going down a hill and you're coasting, you can get up to, well, for prime, you can't go over 75 mile an hour with prime. So if you get up to 70, 72 mile an hour, that's fine. You're going down a hill coasting, as long as you're within the, you know, legal speed limit. And typically I coast up to about 70 mile an hour and then I slow it down. It's just force a habit, I guess, from my days working at Schneider, because at Schneider you couldn't go over 70 mile an hour. I'd get it up to about 68, then I'd slow it down, you know, when I was working at Schneider as a company driver. But over here I can get up to 75. just as an owner operator. But I noticed that I'm going to be saving some fuel, and I saved quite a bit this round, or last round. So I'm hoping that I can say, hoping that I can save a little bit more fuel this next week. But I can tell you right now that taking care of your truck and making sure your tires are good, making sure your brakes are good, making sure that you got plenty of fluids and things like that, it makes a difference, guys. It really does make a huge difference. So take care of your trucks, and your trucks will take care of you. That's all I'm saying. As far as MPGs goes, try it. Try running at 60 mile an hour. I guarantee you that if you do an experiment, okay, if you run at 60 mile an hour with a 40,000 pound load, you're going to get the same mile per gallon as you would if you're running 65 with a 20,000 pound load. Okay? Just do the experiment. I can tell you right now that you'll see the difference. You really will see the difference. And you'll be running the same amount of miles. So if you think you can run 600 miles, and you probably could, you probably have an hour left on your clock, and you could probably do a 600 mile day. Okay? But why risk it? Why risk not having a place to pull over for the day? Why risk it, right? There's just no point. But anyways, I'm going to go ahead and hop off here, guys. I hope you guys have learned something a little bit. I mean, I do ramble occasionally, but I hope you guys did learn something. But yeah, I hope you guys did enjoy the video. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. Man, wow, there's so many. It's like the coffee. Coffee's good, but I got these little pieces of coffee grounds in the coffee, and it wasn't at the bottom of the barrel either. It was fresh coffee. Anyways, all right. Hope you guys did enjoy the videos. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and hope to see you guys again soon. All right.